The book of Genesis chapter 38. Judah and Tamar. At that time, Judah left his brother and went down to stay with the man of Adullam named Hiran. There Judah met the daughter of the Canaanite man named Shur. He married her and made love to her. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son, who was named She conceived again and gave birth to a son and named him Oman, and gave birth to still another son and named him Shelah. It was at Kadesh that she gave the birth to him. Judah got a wife for her, his firstborn, and her name was Tamar. But Judah's firstborn was wicked in the Lord's sight, so the Lord put him to death. Then Judah said to Onan, "Sleep with your brother's wife and fulfill your duty to her as the brother-in-law to raise up offering for your brother." But Onan knew that the child would not be his. So whenever he slept with his brother's wife, he poured his semen on the ground to keep from providing offspring for his brother. What he did was wicked in the Lord's sight, so the Lord put him to death also. Judah then said to his daughter-in-law Tamar, "Live as the widow in your father's household until my son Shelah grow up." For he thought he may die too, but like his brother. So Tamar went to live in her father's household. After a long time, Shurah's wife, the daughter of Shur, died. When Judah had recovered from his grief, he went to Timnah to the men who were shearing his sheep, and his friend Hiram the Adullamite went with him. When Tamar was told, "Your father-in-law is on your way to Timnah to shear his sheep," she took off her widow clothes, covered herself with a veil to disguise herself, and then sat down at the entrance of the Enai, which is on the road of Timnah. For she saw that, though Shelah had now grown up, she had not been given to him as his wife. When Judah saw her, he thought she was a prostitute, for she had covered her face. Not realizing that she was his daughter-in-law, he went over to her by the roadside and said, "Come now, let me sleep with you." "And what will you give me to sleep with you?" she asked. "I will send you a young goat for my flock," she said. "Will you give me something as a pledge until you send it?" she asked. He said, "What pledge should I give you?" "Your shoe and its coat, and the staff in your hand," she answers. So he gave them to her and slept with her, and she became pregnant by him. After she left, she took off her veil and put on her widow clothes again. Meanwhile, Judah sent the young goat by his friend to Adullamite in order to get his pledge back from the woman, but he did not find her. He asked the man who lived there, "Where is the shy prostitute who was beside the road at Enam?" "There would haven't been any shy prostitute here," they said. So he went back to Judah and said, I didn't find her. Besides, the man who lived there said, "There hasn't been any shy prostitute here." Then Judah said, "Let her keep what she has, or we will become a laughing stock after all. I did send her this young goat, but you didn't find her." About 3 months later, Judah's goat told, "Your daughter-in-law Tamar is guilty of prostitution, and as a result, she is now pregnant." Judah said, "Bring her out and have her burned to death. As she was being brought out, she sent a message to her father-in-law. I am pregnant by the man who owns this, she said, and she added, see if you recognize those seal and cord and staff there are. Judah recognized them and said, she is more righteous than I, since I couldn't give her to my son Selah, and he did not sleep with her again. When the time came for her to give birth, there were twin boys in her womb. As she were giving birth, one of them put out his hand, though the midwife took a scarlet and tied it on his twists and said, this one came out first. But when he drew back his hand, his brother came out, and she said, so this is how you have broken out. And his was named Perez. Then his brother, who had the scarlet thread on his twists, came out, and he was named Zerah. We just finished chapter 13, 8 of the book of Genesis. Amen.